post yesterday, you had Elon Musk writing, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." And then
hey, no, Elon. Hey, I know, they call you a genius. You should have seen this coming. Once again, Republicans may drop the ball on 99 issues, okay, throughout the decades. But if it's one bill they're going to pass, without a doubt, it's a tax cut. Somebody out there tell me you are not surprised by what's going on with this Trump bill. And I called this like a few months ago. Trump is going to do all these like outside cuts. He's going to try to cut this. He's going to fire these many people. He's going to do all this trimming that he can. So this big, beautiful bill that he's trying to get through is going to be the biggest tax cut in history. And that's the whole point of Doge, which I guess Elon Musk didn't know, but that was the whole point. Try to cut this, cut that, so they can have some sort of excuse to do this. And remember, this is supposed to be the party of, we got to watch our debt. We can't, just continue to borrow and borrow. That doesn't look good as a country. But this bill approximately is going to add 3.8 trillion, not million, not billion, but trillion dollars to the federal debt in the next decade. So you tell me, it doesn't make any sense. But let's go ahead and go to Mr. Filter Franco here. And it's weird. Like, we have people within the Republican Party voting for a bill they didn't even read. And now we got Elon Musk upset at Trump because he's doing what we all knew Trump was going to do. Wow. Okay. All right, let's get into it.
Trump is facing a mutiny. And funny enough, it's over Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill, and it even includes Republicans who literally already voted for it. Starting with yesterday, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene proving AOC right and admitting that she voted for the bill even though she didn't read it, even though she didn't understand what was in it, and saying that if she had actually done her job, she wouldn't have voted for it. They're specifically flagging a provision of the bill that would ban states from regulating AI for the next 10 years, writing, "I am adamantly opposed to this, and it is a violation of state rights, and I would have voted no if I had known this was in there." And then my God, this right here, we knew she can't read. We know that. We understand that. But to sit here and let everyone know, hey, if I would have read the bill, I wouldn't have voted for it. Now, of course, this could be like some sort of excuse. She knew what was in there, but she's just trying to save face like, oh, I didn't know this was in there, guys. Don't be mad at me. I'm just incompetent. That could be possible. But I really think she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. But why? Why are you in office? Whatever state that she represents, people need to understand. You cannot elect people who are not going to do their job. Their basic job is to at least read the legislation or the bills that comes onto their desk. Duh. But okay, I mean, maybe she's too busy attacking trans people and gay people and black people and Jewish people. If it has something to do with gay people or trans people or black people, maybe she would have read it. I know she skimmed through it looking for that, but she skipped over this because
it wasn't sexy enough, I guess.
And adding, this needs to be stripped out in the Senate. When the OBBB comes back to the House for approval after Senate changes, I will not vote for it with this in it. We should be reducing federal power and preserving state power, not the other way around. Right? And so there are a few things we need to unpack here. First, I do want to note that it is not at all uncommon for lawmakers to stuff big bills like this with various unrelated measures, especially these days given how polarized Congress is and how hard it is to even get a bill on the floor in the first place. But also, while sometimes more controversial provisions that get quietly slipped into a bigger bill and intentionally buried at the last minute, that's not the case at all here. With the inclusion of the AI provision, it got a ton of attention. Lawmakers openly discussed it on the floor. It was massive front page news. We even covered it on the show the week before last. But, and this does not excuse Marjorie Taylor Greene because it's her fucking job, this does appear to have been a major blind spot for right-wing media. Because according to an analysis of the initial news coverage by Ground News, just 8% of the outlets reporting on that story leaned right. But again, that just excuses to some degree and explains why so many right-wingers weren't aware of this. It does not give a pass to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has an obligation to understand the legislation that she's actively voting for. She is openly admitting she's blind voting for shit to make Daddy Trump happy. It's unsurprisingly, you had many dunking on and going after Marge for this, that being echoed by a lot of others who slammed House Speaker Mike Johnson and other GOP leaders for just ramming this bill through the House. Right in there, noting that Johnson was haggling with members of his party and making changes to the bill to get their support until the very last minute. So the final version of the legislation wasn't even finished and moved to the floor until 10:40 p.m., which gave representatives just 8 hours to read a 1,000+ page bill. Which is why then you have so many arguing that these admissions, it just proves that Johnson and his leadership team intentionally rushed through a problematic bill before members could actually understand it, knowing that if they did, it wouldn't pass. With some
and that is another crazy, like, total opposite of how the Republican Party is ran. And a lot of people, for some reason, think it's a bad thing when Democrats and progressives, like, they critique each other, whatever bill or idea. Let it be an idea. Somebody, some Democrat person, politician, voter is going to challenge it, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, every politician that stands to say, hey, I want to run for president as a Democrat, we got a list of the pros and cons when it comes to them. But with the Republicans, hey, I'm just going to vote for the bill, right? I didn't read it, but I'm going to just vote because he's a Republican and he's Donald Trump. So you tell me how is this supposed to be done? But people think it's a bad thing when we critique each other and when there's critiquing within the Democratic Party. That is supposed to happen. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing her job, maybe she would have voted no, I guess.
I'm describing it as Johnson and his team completing the legislative work in the most irresponsible ways possible. But again, it doesn't just fall on GOP leadership. You can't just make Johnson the scapegoat here, right? All of the rank and file GOP members who voted for this, they're responsible. MTG's admission just exposes she's an incompetent sheep, with many, if not most, allowing themselves to be willfully blindfolded. So again, I gotta go back. I have to stress this. The AI provision that MTG opposed, it was essentially part of the conversation from the get-go. The initial text was released May 11th, the same day that the rest of the first BBB draft was unveiled. That was well over 10 days before Congress voted on the legislation. And then when you remember the fact that the provision was actually debated on the floor and it got so much media coverage, there's no excuse, especially if she claims that AI regulation is such an important issue to her. And again, while I suspect that no member of the GOP actually made their way through this bill, she is also not alone in making the admission that she did. Because you have things like last week, Representative Mike Flood admitting during a town hall meeting that he didn't know that the BBB had a provision that limited the power of judges to hold people who violate court orders in contempt, with him then saying if he had known about that measure, he would not have voted for the bill that he voted for. An admission that drew boos and jeers from the crowd, and it left me wondering how many of those people might have voted for. Because you can't elect a clown and then get angry when the circus comes to town. And well,
hey, you can't be angry at a clown when the circus comes to town. Hey, that should be put on a t-shirt. At some point, you have to be responsible as a voter, as a Republican voter. You voted for that person to represent you. And you knew he was just going to follow along whatever Republicans or whatever Trump wants to happen or whatever bill he wants to get passed, they're just going to follow suit because they know if they speak out or try to challenge or critique or whatever, that's the end of their career. So once again, if you voted for the clown and then get mad when the circus comes to your town, hey, you belong at the circus too.
Both lawmakers got a lot of flack for this. Their comments actually do carry a lot of weight. Because remember, the BBB only passed the House by a single vote. So one, it wouldn't have gotten through. And two, if the bill passes in the Senate and it gets back, these two could actually sway the outcome. Though of course, it's also possible that GOP leaders will cave to their demands. Or the Senate could also determine that those provisions violate the strict rules governing what can and cannot be included in a reconciliation bill, and there's already been speculation that both the AEI and contempt measures might need to go. But regardless, it underscores how tenuous the bill's future is. And not just because it could be torpedoed by MTG or Flood. Because literally just half an hour after Green's post yesterday, you had Elon Musk writing, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." And then
hey, no, Elon. Hey, I know they call you a genius. You should have seen this coming. Once again, Republicans may drop the ball on 99 issues, okay? Throughout the decades. But if it's one bill they're going to pass, without a doubt, it's a tax cut. You knew that. You voted. You bought Trump into the White House. You knew this was going to happen. Oh, but now you want to play. Oh man, this is not good. Why? Blah, blah, blah. No. Hey, you're an idiot if you didn't see this coming. Okay? That's simple.
Is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. And then after, he wrote, "In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people." And then today, he took it even further with him responding to a post made by Senator Mike Lee, asking if anyone would support an amendment that made all members of Congress ineligible for re-election anytime the deficit is over 3%. With Musk writing, "This is the way." And with that, I'll say Musk's comments are not exactly the most surprising, because while he has been a next-level supporter of Trump, he also last week criticized the bill, saying he was disappointed that it increased the deficit and didn't include Doge cuts. So there, you also had sources telling multiple outlets that he really opposed the bill because it would cut EV tax credits that massively helped Tesla. With people also saying that he's salty at things that Trump's done lately, like not keeping him on staff when the 130-day time limit for his role expired and withdrawing the nomination of a key ally who had been tapped to lead NASA. But whatever the reason may be, this was massive. It's Musk's biggest break yet from the president that he helped install with hundreds of millions of dollars in donations. And there's just the sheer magnitude of the post, because, I just read a few of them, but he has been making constant posts criticizing the bill. So much so that it was basically all that was on his timeline as I was recording. But perhaps the most significant is just simply the fact that just days after leaving the White House, Musk, it appears, is now trying to use his power to blackmail or at the very least coerce Republicans into opposing a package that is literally just full of Trump's top legislative priorities, which is an insanely dramatic shift. But also there's the question of, will it do anything?
Even that conversation on its own, it is weird to witness a billionaire challenging a sitting U.S. president, which we know that he paid to get into there, but that shouldn't even be a thing. That should not be possible to blackmail, to coerce other Republican politicians. How? Why did we get here? How did we get here? Who did we get here? It's crazy. But this is our government at the moment. Okay, got you.
Musk was able to successfully tank a spending bill back in December after a similar shitstorm of posts and threats to Republicans. But that was also in large part thanks to the fact that Musk's tweetomania eventually influenced Trump, who joined his position. But this time, he's against Trump, and beyond that, Musk has also lost a significant amount of popularity, influence, and political capital since he started doging everything up. Now he's not even part of the administration. But that said, we have seen some Republicans already coming out and echoing Musk's remarks about the BBB. Though notably, most of them are fiscal hawks who had already voiced reservations about the bill, so It's not like Elon actually influenced them. Now, with that said, as far as how Trump has responded, the press secretary did say that Musk's tweets have not changed his opinion. But also, notably, as of recording this, the president himself has not chimed in beyond sharing a screenshot of a post that Musk made last week thanking Trump for letting him run Doge. But as far as
now, that that part right there, this right here is what makes me wonder why. And I'm not really big into conspiracies. Like, I need a little bit more, smoking gun to really start to, understand some things. But this right here, we know Trump will attack anyone and everyone, including your mama and my mama, both our mamas, okay? But Elon has been attacking Trump in his only bill that he's probably going to get through nonstop for the past couple of days. And Trump has said 0 things in response. That's a little weird to me. Like, does Elon have something on Trump? Or like, is that $250 million? Like, is that really what we're witnessing now? Because it's kind of weird. Trump will attack, disabled people, veterans. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's not attacking Elon, which would be easy. Trust me. You could just say anything about Elon and win that conversation.
in beyond sharing a screenshot of a post that Musk made last week thanking Trump for letting him run Doge. But as far as how this is actually going to shake out, that remains to be seen. But the one thing we know for sure is that there is trouble in paradise. But then,
hey, trouble in paradise, which once again is a little weird to sit here and witness a billionaire that doesn't have, even if he had the U.S. citizens in mind, okay, let's just say he was, like a Iron Man or a Bruce Wayne, like trying to protect the U.S. citizens. It is still a problem that he can try to challenge an entire government only because he has money. That right there should let you know you can have too much money. If you can influence politicians to try to make them or, take a position that you agree with only because you have money, he's not a U.S. citizen. No one elected him for anything, but you want to replace, doesn't make any sense. So this whole Trump versus Elon, it can be fun to watch. Trust me, I'll be there, front row with popcorn. But at the end of the day, the people that are going to be losing is me and you at the end. Because neither of these two care about American citizens. That's simple. But once again, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that blue sky link in the description down below so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.